Hi, it's Rose. Welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to share some ATCs that I created for Halloween, or artist trading cards. So for my artist trading cards, I wanted to use this pack of Strathmore Bristol, and it is the vellum surface, and it's already pre-cut artist trading cards. If you're not familiar with artist trading cards or ATCs, they are 2.5 by 3.5 size paper, and they are designed for someone to create a piece of art on it and then to trade them with a friend or someone in a swap. And they are never to be sold but only traded, and they're a fun way to create a little piece of your art on a very small canvas size that is the size of actually a playing card. As a matter of fact, I have a playing card here, and here's the ATC, so it's just about that size. So I wanted to make some Halloween ATCs and kind of get into my stash and do just that. What I've also done is I've gone through my stash of sort of scrap papers, and I've cut a bunch down in size that I could use for future cards. So I just went through my scraps and realized that a lot of the scraps I really couldn't use for other card making layers. So I thought, why not just cut them down and keep them on hand for when I have the urge to do some ink blending or watercoloring or what have you, and just sort of use these as a good palette for that. So I have quite a stack here that I can work through, and I'm going to make that a habit of sort of going through my scraps and making sure that I can cut them into usable sizes for something else. Now, this size is also, it would be a good size for also doing some layering on a card as well. So if I didn't want to use them as artist trading cards, I could always stamp a design, color it up, and add it as a layer on a card, but not certainly for a card base. But anyway, that's a little tip there. So I used some of these, and then for stamps, I, of course, went into my Tim Holtz collection. I haven't been doing a lot of Tim Holtz Halloween this year, although I have quite a stash of Tim Holtz products. He's really the reason I got into card making and stamping and tag making to begin with. This is an adorable Halloween collection. It's pumpkin head, and these pumpkins are sort of jack-o'-lantern faces that are just a little cute, a little creepy, and that's what I love about it. They're red rubber cling stamps, excellent quality from Stampers Anonymous. So I used a couple of these guys. And then, interestingly enough, I used a stamp from this Christmas collection from Stampers Anonymous and Tim, and this is Joyful Song. And I actually used this crackle sort of leaf stamp as a background on a few of my ATCs, but obviously this is designed for Christmas tag, card making, art journal, etc. But a beautiful stamp collection nonetheless. And then one or two from this Stampers Anonymous collection from Tim, and this is Ultimate Grunge, and it's just that. These are perfect for adding to backgrounds on ATCs, so I love this collection. Just a variety of checks and crackles and dots and bricks and numbers, and really fun to sort of add to ATCs. Also excellent quality red rubber cling. And then a few spooky pieces from this Ideology Ephemera pack. So again, these are great for tags, dies, all of the above, ATCs. Just fun, classic, vintage Halloween images, and a nice color palette. So a couple of these guys, and then some of these clippings that are from the Halloween collection ideology, and they're just half sentences, words that are Halloween related or just kind of spooky. And I like to add a couple of little words or one or two just to bring out the theme of the ATC. So a couple from there. And then some of this tissue tape, and this is in the Symphony. Again, it's lighter than washi. If you're not familiar with tissue tape, tears very easily, great for layering, and you can sort of ink blend right over it, but it just adds another layer to the ATC. So I thought that would be fun. I took out my little distressor because after all, they're Tim Holtz ATCs, so they should be distressed on the edges, and this is a nice way to do that. You can, if you don't have one of these little tools, you can certainly use a scissor, but the idea is just to sort of scrape the sides and sort of shred it and distress it a little bit. So he came out with this a few years ago, and obviously I thought it was a great tool. And then a Sharpie pen, just to add a few extra lines and dots and do some scribbling on the tags as well. So this is a fine point. You can pick these up at Target. I think they're packs of 2s or 3s. They're not very expensive, but a great little permanent Sharpie pen to add to your pen collection there. And then, of course, a variety of distress inks in just about all the colors. I brought in Hickory Smoke and Barn Door and some chipped sapphire, fossilized amber, and you know the drill. Once you get ink blending with distress inks, the sky is the limit. I also added some shimmer sprays, some of my Spectrum Noir glitter pen, and let's get into showing you the ATCs that I created. So here's a look at the first ATC that I created using one of those little pumpkin head stamps, and I thought this was a kind of a spooky but yet cute little jack-o'-lantern, and I colored him up with some Copics, and then I did quite a lot of ink blending in the background, including some of those stamps that add sort of like the scratches and splatter just for some interest and texture. Here's that tissue tape that I sort of tore and then ink blended over along with a couple of star die cuts. This is one of the little ephemera pieces from that pack that says Poison. I used glossy accents for his eyes, nose, and mouth just to add that layer of interest there on his little face and sort of make that face pop a little bit more. This is one of those texts that says a strange visitor, and then I took that distressing tool and went around the edges and sort of distressed that up and then ink blended over that. On the back, I used a deep red stamp. That's an artist trading card information stamp, and included that on the back for trading in the future. And that was my first one. So the next one, I used one of those pieces from the ephemera pack for the focal point, and that's this really kind of scary black cat that doesn't look too happy. He's definitely pretty spooky. This one says, "In the shadow of the trees," and then on Halloween night you might find this guy lurking there. There is some eyelash trim that I added to the back of him just for some texture and interest, and then quite a lot of ink blending. I added some Spectrum Noir to his body and face So we would get that great glimmer and shine there. And then I also used some mica spray over the whole background just to make it look like it might be sort of a foggy or misty Halloween night. And I thought he came out pretty adorable and spooky at the same time. So here's a look at my third one, and this is sort of grungy Halloween, and that is what we sort of love about Tim's Halloween, and why we do distress to begin with, is to kind of get that distressed and grungy look. And I've done a lot of ink blending in the background, layered up sort of those miscellaneous stamps, just so it might look like a brick wall that is behind this little gourd, and he sort of looks pretty spooked and scared himself. This one says someone digging in the ground, and he looks like he might be frightened by somebody. There's a little bat there, die cut, and some stars, and I rounded the edges on this one just for a little bit more interest. So that was ATC number 3. And then my final one was this interesting fellow, and he was from the Ephemera pack. It says skull and crossbones and poison. Of course, he looks like he's ready to serve up some of that poison to someone at a Halloween event. I used glossy accent for his monocle, and then for a couple of little bubbles coming from that bottle of poison there. So again, I did some distressing with that tool all around the edges, and sort of wanted to make this one look like it might have been ripped from a poster that you might see on Halloween night if you walk down an alley around midnight. So he might be one of the clients there in a shop that might be selling that poison. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. This is the 4th and final ATC that I made for this particular collection. Let me know if you have a favorite, what you're doing for Halloween. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing, thumbs upping my videos. I appreciate you so much. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.